What if the thing everyone agrees we need more of is the thing that matters least? Walk into any room where people are trying to build an innovation economy or an entrepreneurial ecosystem, and you'll hear the same diagnosis word for word. We need more programming. We need better navigation. We need better ways to help a founder find the right resource at the right moment. We need more access to capital, access to networks, access to the right rooms. And underneath all of it sits one quiet assumption that the system isn't doing enough, or it isn't doing it well enough. That if we just added one more of it or organized it a little better, that the outcomes would follow. Um, I want to make an uncomfortable argument today. Part of the work that I do is running a platform built on this very premise. This is my world. And I've come to believe that we are measuring the wrong thing almost entirely. The companies that actually matter, the high growth ones, the ones that change the shape of a region, were mostly built before they ever reached us, outside of us, or beneath the things that we bother to count. For a long time, the argument in this field has been an argument about quality. It's the programming good enough? Are the mentors strong enough? Is the curriculum sharp enough? Are we letting the right people into the right rooms? And I think that's the wrong question. The right question is harder, and it's this. Does any of it actually cause the outcome, or does it simply select the companies that were going to succeed anyway, and then stand close enough to actually take credit for them? There's a difference between helping a company succeed and being in the room when it does. The field has spent a long time confusing those two things. And once you see the distinction, selection versus causation, you can't unsee it. It changes how you read every success story an ecosystem tells about itself or about its programs, about the things that happens within it. And here's the uncomfortable mechanism beneath all of it. If you select well enough, if you get good at spotting the founders who are already going to win, your results look extraordinary. Your demo days are full of success, your portfolio shines, your numbers go up and to the right. And none of it proves you did a single thing. In fact, the better you get at selection, the more impressive you look, and the less you can prove about your actual contribution. That is the trap this entire field of ecosystem building is sitting in right now. We built a scorecard that rewards picking winners. And somewhere along the way, we started to believe that picking them was the same as making them. Let me give you this picture in pieces. There's three of them. Let's start with capital, because when we talk about programming, this is the resource we treat as the main event, if you will, the headline of nearly every innovation economy and every innovation story that we tell. Look at the fastest growing private companies in the country, the genuinely high growth firms. Let's remove the Silicon Valley unicorns for a minute and ask one simple question. How many of them were built on venture capital? The answer, it's a single digit percentage. Sit with that for a second, right? The resource that we organize everything around, that we say every founder needs, the thing we celebrate, the thing we benchmark ourselves against, the thing we treat as the oxygen of the whole system, it was never even in the picture for the overwhelmingly majority of the companies that actually grew. So if the headline resource isn't touching most of the winners, what exactly is the ecosystem providing them? That's not a rhetorical jab. It's the question we mostly avoid asking out loud. So let's talk about proof point number two. The second piece. This is the heart of the whole thing. The programs that look the most effective, the ones with the best outcomes, the ones that everyone points to, mostly got there by picking well, not by doing well. We actually have clean evidence on this. There's one of the most rigorous studies ever done on an accelerator, pulled the model apart to see what was really working. The funding, the workspace, the structured teaching, they isolated the pieces and they looked at them. And what they found is that the money and the space did nothing on their own, nothing measurable. The only thing that moved the outcome was the structured teaching, the actual transfer of knowledge from someone who knew to someone who didn't. Everything else, the capital, the desk, the convenings, the being in a cohort, was all decoration. It selected good companies. It did not cause good outcomes. And most of what this field offers is exactly that decoration. We provide the room fills with the companies that we're already promising, they succeed, and we write it down as impact. So if this isn't the programming and it isn't the access, where does the real value actually sit? It sits with the people who have no job description that says serve founders. The real engine of a region is a surprisingly small number of experienced operators, serial entrepreneurs, people who have built and scaled something themselves. This could be a startup, or this could be people actually in a corporate setting. We see a lot of entrepreneurs that start around the age of 45. Those are people who probably have come out of one of these operator models. And what they recycle back into the system, capital, yes, but also talent, judgment, the hard won pattern recognition that you only get from having done it once, having done it before. That is the thing that actually moves a company forward. And here's the part that should bother us. Almost none of those people work at an organization designed to help entrepreneurs. They're not on anyone's org chart. They're too busy building the next thing. I'll be honest. I know this is I know this from my own life. The most valuable resource I ever had as a builder wasn't a program. It was coming out of a company that had already scaled, that had already had the resources and gave me the structure and the experience to actually know what I wanted to build. That's the part of the system that we simply can't see. The founders who win usually inherited the decisive inputs, the experience, the network, the credibility from the company they came out of, not from a cohort, not from a curriculum, but from the build itself. The operators are the infrastructure, and we have organized this entire field around everything except them. So, what would honesty actually look like here? It would start with a harder scorecard, not how many founders we serve, not how many dollars got raised inside our zip code, not how many companies walked through our doors. It would ask the one question almost no one in this field is willing to ask out loud, and it might be hard to track. Would they have made it anyway? That's the counterfactual, and it's the only honest measure of whether you caused anything at all. Most of the field won't go anywhere near it because for most of what we count, the honest answer is yes, they'd have made it anyway. I believe growth is designed and not accidental. I've staked my entire career on that idea. But design is not the same as counting. The system rewards what it can see, what fits on a slide, what it can take credit for at the end of the year, and the things that actually build companies are mostly the things it can't see. So the real work isn't adding more to the system, it's building one honest enough to measure what it actually causes. That's where I want to spend my time. And it's where we're going to spend some of ours here in the episodes ahead over the next few months.